There's good, I do read the comments. I mean, people put up nonsense, but also a lot of people put up useful stuff. Like years ago when they told me Tekashi 6ix9ine used my song, I sued him and got some money. So some of the stuff people could put in comments is real. Now let's go to the tail. I did hit up Little Rod Zay trying to get him to interview. He said he would hit me back. We'll see. But go over on his channel, Little Rod Zay, Rodzay, and listen to his story. But I don't want to steal all this thunder, but I'll give it to you in a nutshell. Nipsey, okay, so all this stuff happens with the tour bus. Nipsey, they search Nipsey for a gun. He doesn't have a gun. According to Loose Cannon, Big U had been talking about guns with Nipsey right before that. And why are they all calling Big U a rat? It's something, some cases, and Big U by his own, you see him, I don't think anyone on those shows was calling him a rat, but yet he's saying, I couldn't have had anything to do with that. Kind of weird for him to be saying that on these different podcasts. So I couldn't have had anything to do with it. Do with what? Why would anyone think you had anything to do with anything? Kind of interesting. So think about a guy that's charged with extortion, a guy that was sticking up, that tried to rob a sheriff that he thought he had 33 pounds of coke in 91. Just as a person, so he doesn't, you're a criminal, you don't want to follow the rules. Then you're in the drug world and you don't want to follow the rules of buying and selling and paying. You want to break those rules and just take. Big U was in charge in prison. He might be somebody feel like the rules don't apply to him. That's what a lot of these, listen, I know about a lot of intricacies of a lot of cases, different people all around the country, even people I know. Trust me when I tell you, at that bigger level of the D-Rug game, there's a lot of, well, they all brag about reading Sun Tzu and the 48 Laws of Power in prison. Sun Tzu tells you in the 48 Laws, the best strategy, or the best battle is one you don't have to fight, or if the best victory is won before off the battlefield or something. Meaning what? Meaning if you can take your enemy out without even having to engage your enemy through duplicity. So in Sun Tzu's case, we got some spies into the city and they poisoned the water, so the rival army was sick. And when we attacked their city, they couldn't even fight back because they were all sick because the water had been poisoned. Duplicity. People are pointing out with WAC 100, the way he didn't create Loose Cannon, but Loose Cannon had been running around extorting people with Big U, and just like Nipsey got disillusioned with Big U, apparently Loose Cannon did, and whatever personality type Loose Cannon has, he's telling it all, including getting himself in trouble. Loose Cannon seems like he's in a bad position, though he's the only one not in the LA federal lockup. He's still in Vegas. Be interesting to see if he ever shows up in California, but that's another question. But so if Big U and then 600, who everyone was treating like a joke, and he had that Eddie Boy guy on who supposedly was going to say Big U snitched on him, but Eddie Boy seemed like he didn't want to, he did come on Big 600's show, and he didn't really refute what 600 said. He probably didn't want to get himself in a bunch of drama. He said, I'm Muslim now, and that was a long time ago, but Eddie Boy supposedly in prison had printed out all this copies of his legal work showing that Big U had told the feds that he was, or not the feds, but the state of California, that he was working for Eddie Boy, and that got Eddie Boy in trouble. And Eddie Boy got more time than him. So 600 now is much more believable, I guess.
He tried to catch up Nipsey with a gun case. He thought Nipsey had a gun. He asked Nipsey, where your gun? And you got the thing on you, right? And he said, yeah. He leaves, leaves the bus, right? 2 minutes later, the feds hit. Go in there, gaffle up Nipsey. He go in there and be like, hey, what y'all doing? Trying to 52 fake it. But the whole time, He sent them in there to get Nipsey. But Nipsey had a gun, but it wasn't on him. How would they come in there and start asking for a gun? I never even said about a gun. This is not even my bus. Why would they come and hit this bus, gaffle me, and ask for?
So I ended up going to jail, me and my wife. So now when I get out, I'm like this, like, why y'all acting all funny? They asking Steve for the paperwork. They asking Sony for the paperwork. They need a lease to show that we was leasing it and that this was the movement. Right. And then Steve and Nipsey acting like it's just major caper.